Alright, in today's video I'm going to share 5 of my favorite action JRPGs that came out within the last 5 years. Lately I've been playing a lot of action JRPGs, so I thought, why not just look back and share some awesome action JRPGs. Now before I continue further, I want to say that this list I'm about to present is the absolute truth and that you are wrong for disagreeing. Okay, I'm just joking around, this is a very subjective list, and if I miss out on your favorite action JRPG, then let me know in the comment section. Alright, first up we have Persona 5 Strikers. Now Persona 5 Strikers was one of those games that caught me off guard this year. I never expected to enjoy a Musou type of game this year because Warriors games in general have never been my cup of tea. Now Persona 5 Strikers is a sequel to Persona 5 and it follows the Phantom Thieves as they're trying to solve mysterious events involving people across Japan. Both Persona as well as SMT has one of my favorite turn-based battle systems with its once more or press turn system, and I was worried that they were going to butcher the gameplay into a mindless hack and slash, but I was pleasantly surprised by how much they managed to incorporate the mechanics of Persona's turn-based combat system into an action-based battle system. Just like in Persona you can collect and fuse personas, you also have to think about your team composition in order to exploit weaknesses while protecting your own. Buffs and debuffs as well as status elements plays a big part in Strikers, and knowing how to use them effectively is an important part of the combat system. I personally think they've found a good balance between being an action-oriented game while retaining the tactical elements from Persona 5. Not only that, but it also has a great story and a loving cast of characters. Alright, next up we have Ys 8. Now Ys is a franchise that has slowly grown on me in the past couple of years. Ys 7 was my first introduction to this franchise, but it wasn't until I played Ys 8 that I became fully invested. Ys 9 was also released this year here in the West, which I also love, but I decided to go with Ys 8 mainly because I enjoyed it a little bit more than Ys 9. Either way, the Ys franchise has always been an action-packed JRPG, and Ys 8 is no exception. Here you play as Adol Kristen, who is shipwrecked and stranded on a cursed island where you have to search for other survivors, form a village, and solve the mystery behind this cursed island. What I like about this game is how fast and responsive the combat feels. Each character is strong against certain types of enemies, and switching between party members is very seamless. Like many other Nihon Falcom titles, this game has a fantastic soundtrack, and I was bobbing my head throughout the game. Ys 8 is also easy to pick up, and you don't need to play other Ys games in order to enjoy Ys 8. Alright, next up we have Tales of Arise. Now Tales of Arise is still a new game that was just released last month, but I was so impressed by Tales of Arise that I had to include this game on this list. Tales of Arise follows the main character Alphen and Shion. They're both from opposing worlds of Dana and Rena, and they're on a journey to end the Rena's oppression of the Dana people. As I said earlier, the game is still very new, but it has been a couple of weeks now since I finished it, so I've had time to digest my thoughts. And I do think Tales of Arise is the best Tales games I've played in recent times, especially when it comes to the way they handle the battle system and overall gameplay. Tales of Arise battle system is of course visually stunning, it is very combo driven, which I like. My favorite thing about the battle system is that you have to combine your attacks with your party members in order to be successful in combat. It all flows fantastically well and it is so satisfying to play. The world of Arise is also breathtakingly beautiful. I loved exploring and doing side missions. Overall a great Tales of game that I would recommend to anyone interested in getting into the Tales franchise. Alright, next up we have Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now I've talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake before on this channel and I've praised this game multiple times. Final Fantasy 15 was also released on the same generations of consoles and was an action JRPG as well, but I decided to go with Final Fantasy VII Remake, mainly because I enjoyed the overall game a lot more than Final Fantasy 15. For those that are not familiar with Final Fantasy VII, you play as a mercenary named Cloud Strife, who has been hired by an eco-terrorist group called Avalanche. Their goal is pretty much about saving the planet from the evil megacorp Shinra, who are polluting and stealing the life essence of the planet. Now this game is obviously a remake of the first few hours of Final Fantasy VII with some twists and turns. I'm not gonna lie, I was worried that the game would be a bit too short, but I was pleasantly surprised by how much they managed to expand the game experience into a full 30 to 35 plus hour game. But the biggest change up of them all has to be the gameplay. They removed the classic active turn-based battle system and instead went with an action-based gameplay. And I have to say that I really enjoyed the combat system. What I love about this new battle system is that there is something called a tactical mode that slows down time whenever you open the commands menu, and it makes it feel like you're playing a hybrid between a turn-based and an action-based battle system. Alright, at number 1 we have Nier Automata. Now, Nier Automata is a fantastic action JRPG and for many people, one of the best JRPG of the last generation. Going into Nier Automata, I didn't know much about the Nier franchise or Drakengard. I did play a little bit of Nier Gestalt back in the day, but it didn't really catch my interest back then. I only tried Automata because it was developed by Platinum Games and I was pleasantly surprised by how good the game was. Now, Automata is a sequel to Nier that came out in 2010, and it is set in a post-apocalyptic world where human-created androids are fighting a war against machines created by aliens. I know it sounds weird, but it is really good and surprisingly deep. I'm not gonna say much more about the story because I'm afraid that I might spoil things. Although what's interesting about this franchise is that it requires multiple playthroughs in order to fully grasp the story, and through each playthrough you learn more and unlock new things about the story. Usually when it comes to games with multiple endings, I always replay them once or twice and then look up the rest on YouTube. But with Nier Automata I was hooked from the first ending to the last, and since then I've had a much bigger appreciation for this franchise. And there we go, 5 awesome action JRPGs. I know there are many other great RPGs out there, but these are the 5 games that stood out the most for me. Let me know your favorite action JRPG in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. I do videos on RPGs and sometimes anime related stuff. Consider subscribing if you're interested. More videos are coming, so stay safe and I'll hopefully see you guys next time.